What's happening, people? What's happening? What's going on? What is going on? Uh, Made it through another day. Not feeling too good today, but I guess it is what it is, man. It is what it is today. Had one of those. I was sitting here going, man. I always get people on Twitter going, "Hey, Rev, what can we do for you? Can we help you out, or can we this? Can we that?" And I'm sitting here going, "Sure, you can." My dog needed walking today, and it'd have been nice for somebody to jump over and be like, "I'll walk your dog for you, Rev." That. Hold on one second. Let me do this here real quick. Yeah, but that would have been nice. Um, Definitely wasn't in the mood. Wasn't even feeling. Anyway. I wasn't feeling good to go out. I wasn't feeling good to go out and walk my dog today, so uh, couldn't do that. But anyway, how we doing today, man? I hope everybody else had a glamorous, awesome day today. Been nice. Um, if the sun was still out, it'd been nice. If it was still kind of, what's going on, Johnny? What do we do? What's going on, buddy? Stuck here at the awesome office, but listening. Thank you, bro. Thank you for tuning in, for hanging out, Johnny. If you ever wanna jump in here, man, that door is always open. Come and hang out with me. If I say something that's not right, you can correct me on the spot. A lot been going on. Trump had his annual Trump had his normal people at how they always talk about, the right is always talking about paid protesters. And so Trump had the black folks, his blacks at the White House today, having their Black History shout out and all of this here type of stuff. I mean, I'm like, wow, my thought was, why don't you invite some of those 3,000 black women that you booted to the curve, took their jobs away from them? I don't understand why they are not. I don't understand why they are not invited. Be nice to have them invited to the White House. Those women that don't have a job anymore, but they were all at the White House, putting up pictures saying that they were here. My thought, you get 20 black people in a room and then you fill it up with a bunch of white people. Is that really Black history? Is that really Black history? We get the same black folks every year that's invited. Invite me to the White House. What? Reach out and, hey, Rev, why don't you come to the White House and make a speech or say something with Donald Trump? Well, if you're not in that mindset, then you don't get to go. You got to be in that mindset in order to go. You got to be in that. Well, and I'm really shocked that we didn't have some of these so-called Republicans. We got 5 black Republicans here. Basically, is what we got here in the state of Minnesota. No, 6. Sorry, I keep forgetting Diane. keep forgetting Diane. So we got 6 black Republicans here in the state of Minnesota. And I don't understand why none of them are able, get to go to the White House and bounce around with Donald Trump. Oh, man, barely making it tonight. We're not going to be here long tonight, man. I can tell you right now. Shouldn't he? Now that I'm feeling the way that I feel right now, I'm sitting there going, yeah, this was a mistake. Maybe we shouldn't have. We should have called this off, and maybe I could have jumped on tomorrow or something like that. But we're not in that. We're not in that type of spirit right now, because I definitely don't feel good. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of clear up tonight, because I don't like a lot of people, because of everything that I have in my wheelhouse, the things that I deal with, my phone calls that I get, the people that I go out and try to help and try to do things for, and things of that sort. So a lot of times I learn things, and this is what I always say. Honestly, I learn things from you guys. I learn things from when you put something out, or if I'm talking about something and then you comment on it. Truly, and that's why I always tell people, don't just sit there, and if I say something, don't just sit there and agree with me, right? Do not. What did I do with that sign? I was going to show you guys a sign. I don't know where it's at. I'll find it. But I was going to show you guys a sign. But what I'm saying is, if I say something, push back on it, right? Push back on what I'm talking about, right? So I don't get to sometimes sit back and read a lot of the stuff that you guys are reading, right? Just like you don't read a lot of the stuff that I read. One of the things I have never really gotten into or understood or even researched it until yesterday. That's what I did yesterday. Marxism. Being a Marxist. What is a Marxist? I didn't honestly. No, I'm not joking when I say that. I really didn't have any clue what it was or what it meant, or I know what a communist is. I know what a socialist is. I know all that stuff. But I've never really sat down and put 2 and 2 together to want to even study what Marxism is. Because it really was not important to me until somebody called me that. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, first off, why would you call me that? And what did I say, or what would I say, or what made you feel that that's who I was? And then I started studying. I spent all day yesterday, because I had the time, reading up on it. And I put the question out on Twitter and Facebook. And I asked the question: if you had a choice to be the number 3 of, one of these 3, a socialist, a communist, a Marxist, which one of these would you be? I really didn't get good answers. I really didn't get a good answer to the question, but I got a lot of answers to where I can juggle them in a bowl and kind of put them together. You understand what I'm saying? To figure out which one you would and wouldn't want to be, or why is one bad and why is one, if it's good or not. But I've never seen, like, socialism. I just don't believe in socialism. I don't believe in socialists. I don't believe in that mindset. I don't believe in that thought. Communism, I don't believe in that at all. I don't see anything that comes, and I'm barely even liking capitalism. Because the way, if we go to capitalism in the way Ronald Reagan set us up in a capitalist society, in a capitalist way, that ain't help us either. That's trickle down. It ain't never trickle down. So don't even give me that one. Don't even give me that crap. But we've been brainwashed to believe what comes out of the government. We have. The government tell us this is what we're supposed to believe, and this is what we're supposed to do, and this is what how things are supposed to go. And then we go, okay. Then you got some people who fight against the ruling class. And the ruling class don't care. You know why? Because you always gonna have people who's going to fight for their cause. You always going to have someone fighting for their cause. And they don't even fight their own battles. Because other people always do it for them. So they just sit back and take all the money. And here you got all the peasants. You ever seen that cartoon where the king is standing up there on It's a cartoon where the king is standing up there with one of his subjects, and all the peasants are down there and they're upset and mad. And the king says, "Oh, I'll just tell them I'm going to give them blah blah, and it's something small, and everybody's going to be happy." That's what we get sometimes. It's like that's what goes on with us, right? They kind of tell us that they're going to give us something, and some people like it, and then other people don't, but we're going to fight each other. That's what we do. We fight each other to make sure that we are one of the people to get what we want to get. So yesterday, I got up, and I'm going through my Twitter, and I come across a tweet. This guy who I call him my number 11, my number 11 troll. But some of you probably seen this, some of you probably haven't. Oh, what was that? Some of you probably seen this, some of you probably haven't. So this guy, I don't know why it's not coming in today. Anyway, hold on, let's do this here. So I'll read you what he wrote. I'll read you what he wrote. But I call this guy, this is my number 11 troll. Okay? He's a racist. No, he's a straight up racist. But he's my number 11 troll, right? So he took the what I talked about on Monday, and that's pretty much what he had to say about me. And we're gonna deal with what he had to say, because he put it out there. But I don't mind. He said the ruling class uses their money to control the population through disinformation, and yes, in my opinion, we are all under colonialism, not necessary. See, and that's what that's what I'm talking about. Everybody has a different saying. He said, right? Is that cronyism? Is that cronyism? My damn glasses. But I do believe that's what he said. Not necessary. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a different way of seeing what classes we're under. Big Vic said the ruling classes uses their money to control, right? To control, and that's what I'm talking about. And then Apps said, in my opinion, we live under colonialism, not necessary capitalism. Okay. What do you mean by that? See, that's why I like people to come on. That's why I like people to come on here who has an opinion. Therefore, I can get clarification. I can get clarification on what he's saying. Colonialism. Now, that's another one I have not looked up. I haven't studied that. So now I've got to figure out what he means, what he's talking about. When you're saying crony, you meaning people who are stealing from us, treating us like crazy, or I'm not gifted enough to understand it. If somebody else understands what he's saying, please let me know. I have not something I haven't studied. I don't talk about things that if I haven't studied it, if I can't give you a definition, or if I can't break it down for you, I don't usually talk about it. I like to know at least something. So, my friend, please, sir, in a couple of little words, man, go ahead and put it out there. Let me know. I'll definitely, like I said, I definitely appreciate it. But so what happened was on Monday, if y'all have not had the opportunity to go watch what I said on Monday, to get him to believe that, he, number one, he lied on me. Let's make sure we understand that. Okay. But he said Marxist rant, and then when I asked him, government controls winners and lovers, not the market. Okay, so right now we're living up. Well, yeah, now that you put it that way, you are right. The government does have us under a controlling root. Well, still right, but hold on. You said the government rules, right? Am I correct? Controlling. Sorry, government controlling. Would that also be the government controlling classes to be able to put us under, to rule us? Or am I missing the point? Am I missing the point? But because of the government and the way that they are, and because of the government having select people in their groups, they can fight someone like myself who don't believe that the government has a right to rule our lives. I just don't. I don't believe the government has a right to be telling people how to live, what to do, and how to live their life. I just don't. It's like, leave me alone. What I need the government to do is I need to make sure that the roads are fixed, my water is clean, right? And if they want to get into, which, where I'm living, the government wants to tell me who I can and cannot have. Literally, it's trying to tell me who I can and cannot have as a garbage man. That's not your business. Who I select to pick my garbage up should be my own choice. That should be but the government wants to tell me and go, well, this is the only people that can pick your garbage up. I've got a problem with that. You shouldn't have. No, the government is not going to tell me who's going to pick my garbage up. And that's what I mean. The government has so many other things to worry about. We got kids. No, government helping these schools graduate these kids. The government helping these schools get these kids mind straight. I'm all for that. But I don't need you telling me who can pick my garbage up and who can't pick my garbage up. That's not your business. That's just not your business. Those are the type things that makes me mad when it comes to the government. Yet, I drive down the road and I'm hitting pothole after pothole after pothole. The government ain't done right by that. My street is the last street sometimes to be plowed, and then when it is plowed, by the time I get out there and plow my driveway, the driveway is done, and then the snowplow finally comes by and leaves more snow at the bottom of my dang on driveway than I did in my whole driveway. I need the government to get that right. I need the city to get that right. So, on yesterday, this up north Minnesota thing, it kind of bugged me. The reason it bugged me is because I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, unless the government picks it up themselves, then they should dedicate anyone who can to do anything. No, that's what the government wants to do here. The government wants to get in the garbage business. So they want to tell Ace, that's who picks my garbage up, that Ace don't have a right to pick the garbage up. And then the government would do it. The government has messed up so many things. Why would I want the government messing with my garbage? Messing with my recycling? They can't even get the recycling right. No, seriously, they can't even get the recycling right. Why would I want them messing with anything? That's why I don't have them as a recycle, to do my recycling. I got the other company. I dropped the government from my recycling company and did that because they show up whenever they want to, or they don't even show up. I go, wait a minute. Oh, we'll be around on the next go around. Oh, no. This is recycling day. You should be here. Anyway. So that got me to thinking. And I went back and I watched my Monday's episode to try to figure out what this guy was actually saying. And then I put it out. What is Marxism? What is it? Because like I said, I didn't know what it was. I heard a stat that 50% of mixed recycling goes straight to the dump. Oh, so I'm doing all that recycling for nothing? Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to be a good citizen for no reason, and it's actually going to the dump? I could just throw everything into the garbage can and be done with it? Is that what you're saying, Big Vic? Here I am separating everything, trying to be that good citizen of to keep the environment. I thought I was doing something. Now you just went and broke my heart. So I didn't know what it was. I had no clue what it was. And then because like I said, I never studied it until yesterday. I don't think this is something. I don't know anybody who would believe in Marxism. I really don't. I don't understand why somebody would believe in that. I don't understand why anybody would even come close to believing in that or thinking of that. That's nuts. So this is what he said. He said, here's at RevTChristopher going on a Marxist rant last night. He said, there's a reason, and I'm gonna touch all of these bases, but I'm reading to you what he wrote. He said, there's a reason at GL Podcast. If y'all don't know who GL is, that's Joe Soucheray, the GL Podcast. Stop taking his calls and booking him to speak with Joe. Probably the same reason Brad Collier parted ways with him. He said, Rev is more interested in agitating than he is honestly politically commentating. Here is the thing. I tell you all what I see. So like today, because I don't know if you guys heard or care to hear. Some people don't, some people do. But somebody set fire to Renee Good's memorial. I'm gonna go and check it out. So I go check it out. When I go places and I do things, I tell you guys about it. Because most people don't tell you, or most people who are on these here mics, on these radios, don't go anywhere. They get all of their news, all of it from where? Internet or somewhere. Correct? That's what they do. Now, he said, this is what he said. He said, there's a reason at GL Podcast stopped taking his phone calls and booking him to speak with Joe. I was looking for this poster that I got from this thing. It said push back. And that was one of the sayings of Joe Shushere, push back. And I'll never bite the hand to feed me. Will never happen. Never happen. Now, Walter Hudson and I, we don't get along. We don't see eye to eye. I've said things about some of the crap that Walter has been putting out here lately. But what I'm not going to do, I would never not. If Walter called me today and said, Rev, I need your help, I would be there for him. I would be there for him. Why? Because Walter Hudson, the very Walter Hudson, is one of the reasons why I'm even here today. Walter Hudson helped me get to where I am today. I will never turn my back on Walter, but I will criticize the things that Walter is doing right now. And they're just not right, period. They're right for his base, the people that he's trying to impress. But Walter don't have to do that to be Walter Hudson. But that's what he feel he has to do. I'll let him go. But I would never. Walter asked me for a favor. Boom, done. No matter, like I said, no matter how I feel about Walter Hudson. Same thing with Joe Shushere. If Joe Shushere called me today and asked me for a favor, I have no problem. I know what Joe did for me. I know what Rookie did for me. I know what all of them guys did. What Reavers did. All of them. Kenny. All of them guys. I know what they did for me. Am I going to bash them? It's not bashing. No, I'm not going to bash them, but this is what I'm going to say. As far as GL goes, if you're in a vacuum and that's the vacuum you want to be in, sure, you're not going to like me. Why? Because I'm going to give you the truth of the matter. That's the problem. When you're in a vacuum, that's the only thing you want to hear. That's all you want to hear. Now, I've been on GL's website and read some of the comments that people have said about me. Don't you think I'm not stupid? GL realized that they had somebody that was actually pushing back, just like they said. I mean, I got the poster of them saying push back. But when you have someone pushing back, that messes up your audience. And there's people in the GL Garage Logic's audience that really only want to hear one thing. That's it. They don't want to hear. Big Vic said, technically, you can't. Okay, how about a bubble, Big Vic? How about a bubble? Right? And I know what the people in the Garage Logic fan base wants to hear. I just couldn't do it. I'm going to give you true. I'm going to give you the real. I'm going to give you what I see. I'm going to give you what I hear. I'm going to give you talking about the people that I talk about. I knew what they expect of me as a black man and exactly what they wanted. I knew that. I'm not, like I said, trust me, when it comes to this stuff, I'm not stupid. I just could not deliver. When people ask, well, man, we don't never hear you on Garage Logic anymore, because I could not deliver what they needed for that show. I'm too real of a black man. That's the truth. GL let this black woman run around Minnesota, and they had her on the show lying to people about CRT. They did. They had Kendall Qualls on that show. Are you getting the picture? The difference between me going on their show and a brown person going on, so-called going on. It's not the point that I couldn't do what they wanted, what they needed for their audience, so their audience can get off. But my thought is, if you tell me to give you the truth and to push back on what you're saying, I'm your guy. If I see something going on in the streets, if I see it with my eyes, you think Joe Shushare is out at a damn protest? No. You think he's at a memorial? No. You think Rookie is out at a protest? No. You think he had a memorial? No. You think he's in a black barber shop? No. You think he's at a black church? No. You think he's at a homeless camp feeding people, praying with people, giving people sermons? No. I'm telling you what I see. I tell you what I do. I tell you what I go through. Is that show trying to bring people together? When I talk about bringing people together, when I talk about opening doors and letting people in and do Garage Logic, you ever heard that from? No. But when I go on that show and start talking about that, that pisses people off. If y'all think people really want to come together, y'all are out your mind. You're out your mind. And when people talk like that, I piss people off. I make people mad. I make people, and that's what pissed this dude off, because I realized the only thing that I said that can piss him off this much is when I start talking about how all of these white folks here in Minnesota, in the suburbs, when I talked about Buffalo, Minnesota. Think about this now. If you ain't from Minnesota, let me explain Buffalo, Minnesota to you. It is red as red can get. When they talk about let's turn Minnesota red, Buffalo, Minnesota, it's scorching red. But you know what happened in scorching red Buffalo, Minnesota? There was a protest. Oh my God. That's what scares people. that things are changing, things are going to change, things can change, that things can get better for everybody. That's when I realized that's why he called me what he called me, because that's what I was talking about. When I start talking about my father, my white stepfather, who has been with my mother and with us for 50 damn years, that's what he was talking about. That's what pissed him off. That for 50 years, a white man raised a black family. Yes, he did. When people start talking about, when people ask me, well, Rev, who is your hero? J.D. Hodges. My stepfather will always be my hero. Because that man pulled me out of the mud bottoms of Memphis, Tennessee, the ghettos. That's what he pulled us out of. That man will always, I will love that man today. There is nothing about my stepfather. And in that, he also told me to love the very people that I was told to fear while I was in the South. The very people I was told to fear, that I was supposed to be woke about. The very people that when I walked to the store, I was told, if the truck stops, run to the cornfield. If the truck comes close to the road, run in the ditch. Who drives the truck? See, the problem is you always gonna have those people that really don't want us to come together. And that's what cracks me up about these so-called Republicans. What part of Matthew 25 did you not read? What part of Matthew 25 do you not understand? What part of Matthew 25 are you willing to gloss over? All of Matthew 25 tells you how to love your neighbor. No matter what they look like, no matter how they love, that's what God, listen, show me in the Bible somewhere, somebody, as many times as I've read that Bible from cover to cover. You know what I've never read in that Bible? The Bible has never told me, never one time has it ever, those words ever jumped off the page that says that I need to be a Republican and I need to be a Democrat. There is not one time in that book did that book ever tell me that. The very book that the Republicans will swear by today. Show me somewhere. No, seriously, people. Show me somewhere in that Bible where it tells me to pick a party. And that party, but I can show you over and over and over and over and over and over in that book what God is telling me to take care of the poor, take care of the oppressed, take care of the needy, and am I my brother's keeper? You wonder why we're going through what we're going through right now. It's because we're not living the way God has told us to live. We're not doing the thing God has told us to do. In no way, shape, or form. I know you can say what you want, but I can tell you right now, we ain't doing that as a people. We're not. And when we don't like, look, y'all could, I have no problem with people criticizing what I say. I have no problem with that. Cool. You don't like what I say? At least tell me what I said that you don't like and give me the opportunity to respond. But you can't go on the internet and then try to drag me down to your level. And then when I don't come down to play in the mud with you, there's just days I don't feel like doing that. There's days I love doing that. I love my trolls. Man, if y'all know me. I love when my trolls show up. Especially when I'm sitting at the dialysis center just watching my blood go round and round and round. Because I ain't got nothing to do but just sit there and do that. So when my trolls show up, I'm happy because I got something to do. But there's days when I sit there and go, if you're going to troll me, don't lie on me. I don't care. If you troll me, I don't care if you come on and you do this. Just don't lie on me, because I will never lie on. But one thing I've learned about when people lie on you, lies go farther than the truth. So when this knucklehead, he's a racist. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Say what you want about it. He is. Because I have invited this bonehead on this show on many occasions. I've said to him, dude, if you got a problem with me, if you don't like something that I'm saying, don't get on here and lie on me. He does it all the time. And I said, just don't get on here and lie on me, right? Everybody's like, well, who are you talking about, Rev? Hold on, let me see if I can tone him in here. This guy. If you don't like what I say, just don't lie on me. But he was talking about GL. They've got a format for their show, and that's their show. If they don't want me on their show, fine. But he sits there and he says, they stopped taking when they wanted me, they called me. GL stopped taking his phone calls and booking him to speak with. No, GL stopped booking me because I was waking people up. GL stopped booking me because I was pushing back. GL stopped booking me because I did not do and say the things that their audience wanted to hear. That's why GL stopped booking me. Let's be real about this. It's not lie. It's not lie. And because I wasn't willing to just go on a show like a John Justice. John Justice get black people to come on his show to agree with him. I wasn't going on Joe Souchere's show, especially if he's talking about something that I know. Hold on. So if he's talking about something that I know for a fact, that I've been there, done that, saw it with my own eyes, but he's saying something totally different than what I said, I should agree with him? Really? I can't agree with Joe Souchere when I've seen it with my own eyes. I have to push back. I have to go, well, no, Joe, that's just not right. Because the night of that protest, I was right there. And a lot of people was coming together, black, white, Hispanic, people come together. There's people on Garage Logic don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that people are actually trying to make a difference with each other. Those are facts, people. That's the truth. That's why you got people on there was like, well, you should never book Reverend Christopher again. Or Reverend Christopher should never be on your show again. And guess who listens to that? Why? Because those people are the ones that put money in Joe Souchere's pocket. Let's be real about this. So he has to listen to them. He has to say, well, we can't have Reverend Christopher on here anymore. Because he's waking people up. Because he's opening doors that we don't need open. Because if we open those doors, then our audience will be gone bye-bye. Let's call it what it is, man. Let's call it exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's why I said. Now, and that's just not, hold on now. Hold on. That's not just Garage Logic. I've told y'all, black radio won't let me on. Why? Because I'll sit here and tell the damn truth. Black folks ain't doing a damn thing in the community. The legislative session just opened, correct? With everything that's going on in the black community, you think we got together and put something together and we all was like, let's go down there right now with everything that's happening in North Minneapolis, with all of the kids that can't read and there's no jobs and all that. Do you think black people got together and put together some bills, some type of legislation that's going to help our community? You think black people did that? Hell no, they did not. You know what black people going to do? Bitch and moan. Every black down there in North will be bitching and moaning. But the minute somebody talking about, let's get together, let's go to the NAACP. Let's get them off their ass because they ain't doing nothing. I can't get people to show up, man. You think black radio want the truth? Black radio don't want the truth. Black radio they don't want the truth. Black people want to hear the truth just as much as white people want to hear the truth. They don't. And the minute somebody start telling the truth, you know what they do? They quell their voice. They quell their voice. So, no, man, it ain't my fault that Joe Soucheray and Garage Logic don't book me no more. It's their base's fault because their base don't want the damn truth. So don't lie, man. Don't lie. But if I got on Joe Soucheray and I start talking about black people, if I got on Joe Soucheray and I start saying exactly what they said and I didn't push back, probably would still be there. But who is that helping? Who is that fair to? This is what I'm telling y'all, people. You got a choice. You either take the red pill or the blue pill. But if you're going to hang out with me, you best have a clear pill, period. You best have a clear pill. Because I'm not playing that. I don't push. You come over here. I'm not pushing water for a party. I just will not do it. I won't do it. I will never tell you to vote Democrat. I will never tell you to vote Republican, ever. I will never say the Republicans have done great. I will never say because neither one of them have. Neither one of them have. And y'all know that as well as I do. But because you want to stay in your own little bubble, you expect other people to believe in what you believe in. I don't tell y'all to believe in nothing. I give you the straight skinny. I went down to the Renee Goods Memorial. Somebody set fire to it, burned it up. Why? I don't know. You know how many memorials? If you go down to North Minneapolis, you know how many memorials you'll see? Oh my God, one on every corner. But they go mess with this lady's thing? Come on, man. No. He asked the question, what are the things you disagree with Walter on? One of the new things that Walter has gotten himself into is he's trying to apologize for racism. Right? He's trying to sit here and say there is no racism. He's trying to make it cool. That's what I disagree with Walter on. I disagree with Walter when it comes to the way that the Republican Party wants to deal with and handle coming into the black community. They don't. I disagree with Walter when he wants to put on a shirt for this sheriff that shot the black kid that was driving off. I disagree with that. Totally disagree with that. I disagree with his mindset when it comes to black people, talking about the black community that he has nothing to do with at all. Walter don't come to the black community. Walter don't work with the black community. Walter don't help in the black community. And he's a black man, a legislator that could be up there going, hey, I've got a bill here. I know what's going on down there in the black community, just like Lisa DeMoth. She's a black woman. Name me a bill, name me anything that them two have done for the black community. They know what's going on down there. They understand that. Name me something that Walter Hudson is doing. Name a bill that Walter put out there. He hasn't. I don't care. I know people sit there and go, well, that's not Walter's district. See, that's the problem that we have. Really? It has to be his district for him to care about poor people? We just went over. Y'all need to start reading. Seriously, y'all need to read your Bible. You really need to pick the Bible up. Like today. The minute we get off here, y'all need to just open that book and start reading. Because there's something somewhere God did not tap you on that he's been talking about. God talked about this stuff. I don't care if Walter was in Duluth. Speaking of which, I'm trying to, no. Let me get the name of the Democrat who's up in Duluth who actually wrote legislative paper in Duluth. So don't tell me there's nothing Walter can do. Don't tell me that. So, but see, I would have to agree with people from GL that, and I'll say it again. Derek Chauvin wasn't a guy. I explained this whole thing to you. Yes, sir. What's that? Up to there. Yes, sir. You don't hear Walter Hudson speaking. I mean, again, like I said before, man, if you care about people, if I look, I'm not I have no power. I don't. Right? I got a loud mouth right now, and that's all I have. But when I go out up there, when I go out to go out to Glencoe, Minnesota. You know where that's at? You know what Glencoe, Minnesota is? That's where all the farmers are. So when I go out to Glencoe, Minnesota to help farmers because they're hurting and they need food and they need this here, should I? Should I be like, should I sit here and go, well, Glencoe, Minnesota? I mean, yeah, Glencoe, Minnesota? I'm not going all the way out there. I'm not driving an hour and something out there to help somebody. That's not even in my district. Should I not care about those people, man? Seriously. Think about it for a second. No, I go out there because I care about those people. Somebody out there sitting and going, man, you know what? I'm not going to make it through the week. I go to a church, I get food, or I ask you guys, hey, look, I got a family of blah, blah, blah. Here's what I need. Can y'all send me some food? I drive it all the way out there. Not because they're in my district, because I give a damn, because I care, because I know the hardship that's down there. There is hardship that's going on in North Minneapolis. So why can't Walter go, you know what? Half of those people down there look like me. Maybe I could do something. Maybe I can move a needle. Maybe I can say something. Maybe I can hook up with Rev, who works with those people down there, and say, hey, can I put together a fundraiser for you? Can I do this? Can I do that? You don't have to be in the district, man. But that's what you guys say. Y'all use that all the time. I do what I do because my Bible tells me to do this stuff. That's what my Bible, when I'm preaching, when I go out on the summertime, when I go out and I set up my little stand and I get my microphone and I get my speaker, and I got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 homeless people sitting there and I'm preaching to them on Sunday. I do that because I'm told that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm out in the cold and I'm giving away socks, underwear, things of that sort, hand warmers, all this here. I do it because I'm told that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, I'm delivering food boxes to these people's houses now who are afraid to come out of their house and their kid hadn't ate and we're feeding. I do that because that's what I'm told to do. When I got a mother who's been smacked around and beat up and she got 2 kids and she escapes from the house and I get the phone call and I go pick her up and we hide her in Plymouth, Minnesota for a week until her family can get enough money to come and get her. I do that because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. As many drug houses as I've walked in to pull young ladies out of these drug houses. I do that because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, not because they're in my district. Because the Bible tells me so. You ever heard that song? Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Yeah. Yes, Jesus loved me. I do this because I'm told to do it. And that's how I know a lot of people who swears by this Bible ain't never read the Bible. Because if you did, and if you do what God tells us to do, all of y'all would be calling me, going, what is your next venture? How can I help? What can I do for you? So no. Garage Logic and GL, don't call me because their base don't want the truth. Those are facts. Those are facts. Not because Joe don't. I enjoyed Joe. Joe enjoyed me. Not because Rookie don't. I enjoy Rook, not me. It's the base. It's the people like this up north dude who's afraid of the world and Minnesota changing and everybody's get to be treated fair. And we're helping the poor and we're helping the needy. There are people that don't want that. If you read your Bible's going to tell you that on the day that God kicked Satan out of heaven, Satan wasn't the only one that dropped down here. There were others who followed Satan. And if y'all don't think that we got people like that here today, please, y'all need to read your Bible. Seriously. There are people who hate togetherness, who hate love. That's why they sit there and they go, love works better than hate, because there are people who just, that word hate, they love it. They love hate. They hate. They love it. They love it. Hate when you're talking it, when you're saying it, when you're thinking it, when you're feeling it. And a lot of these talk shows, a lot of these talk radio shows that get paid, they get paid off of hate. Not love, not togetherness, not bringing us together. Hell, if I went on Garage Logic and I started talking about black folks and white folks coming together and we loving each other and helping each other out and we do this like God told us to do, that would run their whole damn audience away. Their audience don't want to hear that. That's not what we want to hear. Give us crap. That's why they tune over to John Justice. There's a reason John Justice show is as popular as it is. It ain't bringing nobody together. John Justice ain't trying to bring nobody together. But you get somebody on here trying to bring people together to show you what God is expect of each and every one of us for us to do. If he blessed you in any way, shape, or form, God has said, I blessed you because I want you to go out and do the things that I asked you to do. Take care of the poor. But again, if somebody can go into the Bible right now and show me in the Bible where it says that I have to represent a Republican or a Democrat, please do that. I will give you $100 right now. If you can show me in the Bible where it says that. I don't roll by Democrats. I don't roll by the Republican Party. I'm going off of what my God, that the one who saved, because you know who didn't save me? When I was at my worst. I'm talking when I was at my worst. There wasn't a Democrat around that said, we'll take you in, Rev, and we'll carry you. We'll make sure this time, after the 8th time that you went through AA, we will stick there and be there with you. Ain't a Republican didn't say that to me either. But you know what God said? If you turn yourself over to me, if you turn your mind, your soul, I will make sure that I clean you up and I will make you a different person. He said different words will come out of your mouth. You will start seeing things different and you will start hearing different. I'm not the same person that I was before. I don't think the same way. I don't believe in the same way. I don't see things the same way. And it wasn't a Democrat or a Republican that put me where I am right now. I serve a God that is good, unbelievable. If y'all want to know, see, if you'd have known me, I got guys right now won't even come around me. Won't even come around. The same guys who watch me fall out of bars, out the doors, I did. I fell out. There used to be this bar called Sharks. I got so drunk one night. I fell out of the door. And then on the bar side, because Sharks was a club, and then there was a bar side, right? The bar side had stairs. You had to go downstairs to get to hit the floor, hit the ground. Fell out of the doors, all the way down the stairs. I didn't feel nothing. This is just how drunk I was. They came, picked me up, and was like, we're not letting you go yet. But you heard, here, drink this. I'm not kidding. These are friends of mine now. 25 minutes later, something like that, they were saying, they let me get in a car and drive home. And now when I think about it, the only thing I can think about is the way that I make, because I don't even remember, I don't remember getting in the car. I don't remember driving home. I don't even remember parking my car. I don't remember putting my keys in the door to get in the house. But God got me through AA. Got me through it. Took a lot of stuff away from me that wasn't good. Then he said, these friends that you got, I'm going to put a hex on them, so not that you don't want to be around them, that they don't want to be around you. All my friends, my wife would tell you, I had a lot of friends. Drinking friends. Friends getting high with. Before the cannabis stores and stuff was open. But he turned this thing around and made me a better person. Not just for myself, but for the people around me, for my wife, for my kids, for my grandkids. And everything started getting better. And I said, if you can do this for me, if you can turn me around the way, being the person that I was, that I just ask and I will do. I am your servant from this point on. And for 20 some odd years, I have done nothing but follow God. Now, hold on. I'm not going to sit here and say I ain't fell off the wagon. I'm not going to sit here and say that every now and then, y'all know I get on here and I say some choice words. I'm not saying you will never hear me say I'm perfect. But what I can tell you is I'm better than I was before. And that's all about the grace of God. I thank him every single day. And now I know I'm going through right now. I wish I need a kidney. My kidneys don't work to where I got machines keeping me alive. But you know what? I look at that and say that's just part of his plan. And maybe that's he's using me also for something else. I don't know what it is. But he always said he will never give you so much that you can't handle it. And trust me, going through this kidney situation and getting on the kidney list and going to all these doctors and that's another thing. He set me up in a way that right now we get the bills come, because if you look, for me to plug up, no joke, I'll show you the bill. For me to plug up for a month, it's $172,000. No joke. I'll show you the bill. I have no reason to lie to you. For them to deliver all of my solutions and all the stuff that I got, I'm $1 million a year, a little over $1 million a year. And they tell me that I have to, I'm on the list, and they gave me a 5-year waiting period on the list. No joke. I'm not, like I said, I got no reason to lie to you. But somehow, some way. Oh, and my doctor bill went. Oh, and that's another thing I was going to talk about. When they talking about healthcare and things of that sort, especially somebody like me. $412 it cost, and I've got to go to the clinic. I have to go to the clinic twice a month. I've got to do my labs this every month. So I have to do my labs, and then I have to go back and I meet with my kidney doctor. That's every month, twice I have to go there. For me to walk in the door, just to walk in the door to see my doctor every month, it was $312. It is now $472 for me to go see him. That's every single month. True story. True story. So my thing is, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go out doing what God told me to do, regardless of what people say about me. Like I said, you can call me what you want, you can say what you just don't lie on me. That's all I ask. Just don't lie on me. Because I will not lie to you. And like I said, a lie travels farther than the truth. You could lie on me on Monday, and by Monday afternoon, it's gone. And then I go and try to tell the truth, and nobody wants to hear it because the lie is already traveled. Especially when you got people who hate on you. Now, another thing he told a lie about in this thing was Brad Collier. So let me explain Brad, and then I'm going to get off of this thing. I've been on here for an hour already. So Brad Collier and I know Brad, and I was just let me say this also. I was just with Brad the other day at the Republicans governors debate. I was just there with Brad. Okay, so Brad, trust me, Brad and I are okay. We're just fine. So Brad said, I want to run for governor. I said, okay, cool. He said, but I want you to be my running mate. And I said, and I let Brad know, I said, you're a Republican, Brad. I said, and I cannot do the Republican thing. Brad promised me that that's not what he was going to do. That he would not, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, let's turn Minnesota red and all this here type of crap. You know, that normal Republican talking point crap. Because, and I'm going to tell you why I say this. When you say let's turn Minnesota red, that doesn't represent me. Just like when they sit and say, well, Minnesota blue. That doesn't represent me either. Why can't we have a Minnesota that represents everybody? Why do Minnesota have to be red or even have to be blue? Why? I don't get that. I don't agree with a lot of things that the Democratic Party does and says and believes. That's why I left the Democratic Party. That's why you don't see me chumming the Democratic Party at all. Everything they've done here lately. Right? I don't believe in gay marriage. Ever. It will never happen. Ever. I don't believe a man that we don't know what a woman is. That you will never hear me sit here and say, well, there's so many species out there. No. A man's got a ding dong, a woman's got a thing down, a vagina. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. And not the ones that the doctor cut off something and made. No, that's not going to happen. So I don't agree with that. I have a problem with abortion. I'm not here to tell a woman if she can't have an abortion or if she can't have an abortion. That's on her. But in my head going, so there's some things, Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment wholeheartedly. They want to try to, snatch what I got. No, man. So there's things with the Democrat. I just don't get on there. I can't get on the board with them. I just can't. I can't. And they don't like me anyway. So let's make sure we understand that. They don't like me because of the reasons I say that. I'm a black minister, and they think that I should be over there pushing their water for them. Yeah? I'm a black minister. They don't believe that I should carry a firearm. They hate that. Black man with a firearm? Oh my God, how are we gonna everybody should love everybody, so we should believe in that a man and a man is married. That's not what God said. Not in my book. Ain't nowhere in my book that it says that. It ain't nowhere in my book that it tell me that. I'm not judging. Hold on before y'all start. Not judging nobody. If Sam and Sam wants to marry, if Sam and Sam want to get together, that's fine. I got nothing to do with that. But don't come to me telling me that I got to marry somebody like that. Don't come to me telling me that I got to be okay with it, that I got to, no. Now, hold on. My wife got friends, 3 sets, females that are hooked up with another female. They know how I feel. I've talked to them about it. I've had round tables with transvestite at my church. I had them in my church sitting there talking to them. I told them how I felt. They told me how they felt. I called them in so I can understand, because I didn't understand. That's what I do, right? If I don't understand something, you better believe I'm going to look into it. I had them at a round table at my church. I've had gay people at my church at a round table so I can understand. So they can understand me, that I'm not bashing them. But you are never going to get me. God told Adam and Eve, a male and a female, 2 different genders, to go and fulfill the world. He married them when he told them to leave. He didn't marry two people with swords to play with each other. That's not what he did. So I cannot get with the Democrats. Period, point blank. But Brad, and I explained that to Brad, why I did not want to run under the Republican ticket. I said, because number one, the Republicans are weak in Minnesota. Number two, where we need votes, Brad, it's not going to happen. And it's not, and what a lot of people don't realize, it's not that black folks don't want to vote for Republicans, because we all understand that the base here in Minnesota, the base of the Republican Party don't want the Republican Party messing with black folks. That's a fact. That is a fact. That's why the door has never been opened. Not because of the candidates, it's because of the base. So I told Brad, you can stick with that. But see, my hope for Brad was he was going to understand what I was saying. He was going to see the things that I was showing him, and he was going to turn independent. I said, let's go independent, Brad. You can have your mindset of being a Republican. That's fine. I don't care. I said, but let's go independent, because I believe us together we can pull some votes, man. So what did I do with Brad? I took Brad and put Brad. I'm the reason Brad Collier can even go into the black community. Ask him. Next time, ask Brad. Why? How are you being able to walk in all of these black churches, Brad? Brad ain't never, before me, I guarantee you, Brad ain't never talking about being in church like he's been in church here lately, in all these black churches, shaking all these black people's hands, meeting all these black people. I did that. I put the table together for Brad and brought Brad into some of the top black churches in this state of Minnesota. So, as Brad and I was going on, some things happened between Brad and I that I just wasn't cool with. One of the things that happened, I get a phone call. And Brad was at I don't know what, it was at a debate. But at this debate, Brad decided to bring a witch, a Wiccan, to be on the team. Are you kidding me? Now, look, people. No. So Brad and I had a conversation about that. We did not see eye to eye. I'm not running around a Baptist preacher with a witch on. No, man. No. It's just no. So Brad and I didn't see eye to eye on that. So that was strike one. Strike two. Brad and I go to this Hmong festival, and they asked Brad to speak. Now, one of the things that I talked to Brad about was don't be with this red meat crap. Don't do the Republican red meat crap. Not every place you go, Brad, do you need to throw out this Republican crap talking point. Red meat, just don't do it. What did Brad do? Brad grabbed a mic and went Republican like you wouldn't believe at this here Hmong festival. And everybody's looking around like, the hell is this dude doing? I'm looking around. Strike two. Third strike. His campaign manager at the time, didn't think I was mega enough. Anytime I said something, boom, Brad called me up. Blah, 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 needs to talk to you. And then I told Brad, because his finance manager and I got into it really bad. So I called Brad up. I said, don't you ever have that man call me ever again. Because he would call me and be like, well, you need to say this, and you need to say this, and you need to get more tougher on saying this, and don't say that, and you can't say this and say that. So he was trying to tell me what to say and when to say it and how to say it, that I wasn't mega enough. I wouldn't put out the mega talking points and all of this here type of stuff. So I called Brad up and I said, Brad, don't you ever have this man call me ever again. If he has to talk to me, it's gonna be us three sitting down somewhere. But I ain't got nothing to say to this man. I get this text message from Brad saying that we need to have, Martino needs to talk to me. And I said, and I hit him back. I said, Brad, I told you not to have this man call me unless you're going to be on the phone. Because I'm with this dude, I can get out of my religion real quick. This dude calls me up and he said some things to me. And right then and there, I knew that I was done with Brad Collier. And I called Brad up and I told him, I said, dude, good luck. If you need something, I'll help you out. I have no problem. But as far as me being on your ticket, can't happen. So when this dude who put this out yesterday, lied and said that Brad dropped me from his that's just not true. I gave Brad every chance to be different, that we needed a different candidate going into this here. Every chance. That's the problem. We was giving, like I told him, we're giving them the same people. You are no different than Tim Walz. Even though you're a Republican, you're not. Your mindset and the things that you're thinking about and the way you want things and this and that. I go, dude, we need different now. You need to talk different. You need to think different. You need to see everybody as not together. We don't need, let's turn Minnesota red. We don't need to divide nowhere, no how. We need a coalition of people coming together. Look at all the Republicans. Look at all the pictures that Republicans take. No, seriously, people. All of these pictures the Republicans are putting out going, oh, we had a packed house and we had this. And where is the diversity in any of those pictures? Where? None. You don't see black people in these spaces with these Republicans. You don't see brown people in these spaces with these people. Every once in a while, they'll have a yellow person. They'll have a Asian or something like that. But there's no diversity at all when it comes to the Republican Party. And y'all know that. They got 6 black Republicans that I can name. 6. That's it. So I told Brad, we can't do it. Can't do it under a Republican Party, man. I told him that. And it took Brad a while. And not only that, I said, you have to fight the establishment. The establishment will push you out the door. And what did the establishment do? Well, y'all about to find out here pretty soon. And and you can sit here and say, I guess Rev told you. I told him the establishment, he is not. I told Brad, you're not the establishment. You're not. They're not going to embrace you. They're not going to like you. Period, point blank. But Brad had to learn the hard way. Instead of him going, let's find, and that's another thing. I had an independent party. I had the guy who called me up going, Rev, would you run up under our banner as the governor for governor? What can you do as an independent? I thought about it. I did. But then I realized when I went around Minnesota, and that's what I did. I literally drove around Minnesota. Couple places they called me to come in and speak, which was cool. But a few other places I just turned up at town halls. I turned up at civic, like the little civic meetings and all of this here, and just start talking to people. I realized doing that, the wear and tear, it was taking on my body and doing that. And that's why I turned down this independent party who had asked me to run as governor under their banner. And then when Brad came along, I said, I already got an independent party who will back us. But he didn't want to do that. So, no, Brad Collier did not boot me to the curve. So that's another lie that this guy told. So you can criticize what I say. Just don't lie on me. Just don't lie on me. If I say something you don't agree with, cool. Tell me what I said. Tell me what you don't agree with. Let's have the conversation. And if you're man enough, I'll put you right here. I don't mind having conversations with people. I don't mind talking to people. I don't. Just don't lie on me. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, just wanted to clear that up. Real quick. But anyway, I got to go. Because I told the wifey that I was only going to be down here for a few minutes. Because she was looking at me going, do you really want to do your work? Yeah. I like doing that. I know what I feel like. I feel like crap. I really do. But anyway, hey, was there anything else? No, there was nothing. Let me shut my mouth. Let me shut my brain off. Click. Y'all have a good night. Let me see here. Today, 2 wings of the same buzzard. That's the government. Yep. It's ratings. He said it's ratings. Yeah, man. It's ratings. I mean, that I look, I understand that, bro. I understand how ratings and people want to hear what they want to hear. And if they don't want to hear a black man telling the truth about something, they just want to hear somebody who sits behind a desk all day and really don't. If that's what they want to hear, that's cool. Hey, to each his own, right? To each his own. Like I said, I for some people, I am too real, and sometimes I even sit back and think to myself, holy smoke, do I want to do what's the dude say? Rev, if you want to grow your audience, dude, you got to dial it back. And I did. I honestly thought about that. I was like, man, maybe I should. But then I said to myself, why should I lie to my people? Why should I lie to the people who come hang out with me? Why? So I'm not dialing nothing back. I'm going to be me, regardless of anybody else says. I don't care if I got 3 people on here at a night. As long as I'm me, as long as I'm telling you the truth, I'm giving you exactly what the deal is and what's going on and what's happening. And if, like I said, if you got something to say about that and you don't agree with me, just say I don't agree. But we can have that conversation, though. That's the conversation. That's a conversation we could have. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate you. And like always remember, the very God that I was telling you about, if you're going through something, can do the same thing for you. I'm telling you point blank. If you don't believe me, open your Bible and read it and see what comes out of that Bible and see what comes into your spirit and into your soul. I know that I was not a good person, and God took me and put me back on the potter's wheel, and he made something totally, totally different. And I've been working for him for going on 20 plus years, doing this, doing that. And I enjoy it, and it puts a smile on my face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We go out and we smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you on Friday. Peace, fam. I'm out.